Thank you very much, Peyton. October is the month when most colleges and universities in our country hold their fall faculty staff meetings. And all across our country this month, colleges and universities are coming together. Faculty and staff are joining together for their annual meeting. And as Clark Midcalf indicated, those meetings, almost all of them, are beginning in a very different way and with a very different mood than our meeting begins with. Those meetings are convening to discuss programs and personnel that are being cut, what they don't have, and what they can't do. Thanks to your efforts, the University of Alabama is in a very different position. And I'd like to take just a few moments this afternoon to discuss a process we've all been engaged in for the last several years. And that process is the process of growing with balanced excellence. You're all familiar with the adage about the strength of a chain. The strength of a chain can be no greater than its weakest link. You can envision a university as a chain. And the university, our university, can be no stronger than its weakest link. If you envision the links that make up a university, they're its people, its programs, its facilities, and its financial resources. And as a university, we can be no stronger than the weakest portion of each of those links. And I'd like to take just a few moments to talk about what you've been able to accomplish in forging the strongest of links. Beginning with perhaps the most important link, our people. This year, over 22,000 young men and women applied to become part of the University of Alabama family. And a few weeks ago, 5,700 of them, a little over 5,700, enrolled as freshmen on our campus. And for the sixth year in a row, in addition to being the largest freshman class in the university's history, they were the most able class in the history of the university. Among the 5,700 young men and women that became part of our family this fall were just over 1,600 who joined us bringing 4.0 averages in high school or higher. Preliminary indications are that we will exceed the 22,000 application mark for next fall's freshman class. And perhaps the most important part of our people link, our students, will be even stronger than they are this year. In terms of faculty, in addition to replacing all of the faculty who retired or resigned, we have added 40 new colleagues to our academic community. We have added over 240 full-time faculty in the last 5 years. You may remember receiving this booklet. If you haven't taken time to look at it, please take the time. You will be impressed, and perhaps even more important, you will be very proud of your new colleagues. Our ability to recruit aggressively will continue this year. Our provost, Judy Bonner, working with the deans, will have $3.9 million to invest in the continued growth of our faculty. We have added over 200 staff members in the past year because we want to ensure that we have the staff support we need, not only to support our students, but to support our faculty and to maintain our facilities and grounds. We have continued to make significant progress in the area of diversity. One of the benchmarks we use is to compare the University of Alabama on many dimensions to the 50 flagship universities in the country, the leading public university in each state. The University of Alabama currently ranks number 2 on that list of 50 flagship institutions in terms of African American student enrollment. We rank number 3 out of the 50 flagships in terms of number of full-time African American faculty. And we rank number 3 in that list of 50 flagships in terms of the number of full-time African American administrators. Thanks to the dedicated efforts of our deans, department chairs, and faculty, we have been able to significantly increase the level of diversity on our campus. In terms of programs, all across our campus, all of our academic units, all of our colleges, and all of our schools are stronger today than they were last year. They are stronger today in part because of the increasingly bright young people that fill their classrooms. They are stronger today in part because of the outstanding recruiting they've been doing, not only of fellow faculty, but also of departmental and college and school level staff. It's dangerous to single 1 or 2 programs out, and time does not allow us to comment on all of them. But I would like to single out 2 programs on campus. Dean Shane Sharp and his colleagues in the Honors College have continued to do an outstanding job. They enrolled just over 1,500 freshmen this fall that averaged in close to the top 1% nationally on the ACT test, and for the first time had an average high school GPA of 4.0. They are truly recruiting the best and brightest. The other academic unit I would like to acknowledge is the College of Engineering, where under the leadership of Chuck Carr, we have become, to the best of our ability to determine, the most rapidly growing engineering program in the country. If you look at the academic profile of the students that are being added to our College of Engineering, I would be hard-pressed to believe that there's a college or university engineering program anywhere in the country that is adding students of superior quality. Our research programs continue to make progress. This past academic year, we had over $65 million in grant and contract activity, with $38 million of that total being in the pure research area. We are growing, not as fast as we would like, but we are seeing consistent growth in the strength of our research programs. You only have to look around our campus to see the tremendous commitment we're making to service on campus, in the community, and across the state. Every college and school on our campus has a broad array of service activities. As was mentioned earlier, in Honors College, over 200 of the incoming students came to campus a week early to make a contribution. Our Engineers Without Borders program literally goes across the world, making improvements in the quality of life for people. Stephen Black and the Center for Ethics and Social Responsibility has been able to develop, in the short period of time he's with us, a broad array of opportunities for our students to become involved in service. The facilities link on our campus has grown steadily stronger over recent years. With 41 new buildings opened, in summer of 2012, we will open the doors of North Bluff 1, our 11th new residence hall, 875 beds. Rose Towers will come down, and we begin construction of a new recreation center and dining facility for that area of campus. In about 2.5 months, Science and Engineering will be moving into their 3rd new building of the 4-building Science and Engineering Quad. And in approximately 2 years, we will occupy the 4th building in that Science and Engineering complex, which will give us over 900,000 square feet of state-of-the-art classroom and laboratory space. We're also not neglecting our older buildings. We've had two major renovation projects, Graves Hall and Lloyd Hall. And if you would like to know how far we've come, those of you who were in the room, who were involved in chemistry directly, think back to the labs that our undergraduate students walked into just a few years ago. It was fair to say that a few years ago, many of our incoming students left superior labs behind them in high school to walk into the facilities we have. Walk into those facilities today, and you'll see the balanced excellence that's needed to fully meet the expectations of the incredibly bright young people that are joining us. We remain one of the most financially strong universities in the country. Our balance sheet is extremely strong. Our income statement equally strong. Fitch, one of the three credit rating agencies, recently increased our credit rating in this market. They increased our credit rating from AA to AA+. Linda Gilbert and I believe we have a reasonable chance of making a case with Standard & Poor's and Moody's. If the stock market will just get a little bit stronger, so some of the ratios in the balance sheet will get a little stronger. We believe we'll be able to make a good case for enhanced ratings there also. And as you look at our financial statements, it's clear that we'll be able to make a strong recommendation to our board in the relatively near future for the issuance of additional bonds so that we'll be able to continue to support construction activity on campus. If you look at our university and if you look at its financial strength, if you look at the management of the non-academic portion of our university, under the leadership of Linda Gilbert, we have become one of the most effective, efficient administrative organizations in the country. I can think of a half a dozen prospective students who have been in my office with their parents who have said essentially the same thing about our campus. When we arrived and parked and looked around, we knew we were there. And that's your work. You've helped us create one of the most beautiful campuses anywhere in the country. I would speculate, given the number of colleges and universities in the country, that there's probably one or two that are having their fall faculty staff meeting this afternoon. And I would speculate that if there are one or two, perhaps three or four, that the majority of those are not sharing the kind of good news and positive information that we're sharing. We've made significant progress in recent years because we're growing with balanced excellence. And the balanced excellence that we have been able as a faculty and staff to put in place is not just a measure of progress. It's the foundation that we are going to build on as we continue to make progress with balanced excellence. That's what you've done, and you're responsible for where we are today. And I thank you very much. We are adjourned.